of Gimel. Tosa asked the question, what do we need? A special Gzir Shami Al Yitlosh? Why isn't Muktzah sufficient? So, and again, the way he explained Rashi, because Kivnis Katsoy Benish was Skul Yoma, and that itself, that terminology is a terminology which is Reb Yehuda's terminology, not Reb Shimon's terminology. And he answers that factually the Gemara is not going like Reb Shimon. Right? The Gemara is going like Reb Yehuda, and the reason is Shami Al Yitlosh, I need that reason for Reb Shimon. So you have to say that when he originally understood, when Rashi says Kivnis Katsoy Ben Hashmoshes, it's like it's just generic. It's a generic term. Because in its essence, this is only according to what? That's going according to Reb Yehuda. The time of the Ocha Asya Libid Reb Shimon, the Leslie Muktzah, the Kamanasya Libid Reb Yehuda, V'tema. But he says, the Pirish Rashi Gufi L'kamon, Noch Shevi Doron, also Ho'ovadu Laktinu Mi'esvel Aktsinu, Vavi Kumuktzah Grogus Utzmukim, Vafil Reb Shimon Moder, Im Kedashin Amr Reb Shimon. So if that's the case, what do we need? The Tam Shemi Aleph Yitlosh. That he didn't pick it, that's Aksub Yadayim, he negated it. Yishloma de Bayri Hocha, Kigom B'chotzer.
So before we even go to there, so yes, we spent some time trying to understand why the Sugi consists of the verse, and that we went to Sugi. So what are we saying at the end? That the reason is, how are we catching up? But just one mahal. That the reason that these...
We said there's the two Lashonis, no, the two Lashonis in the morning Shabbos. If you have the case of Midborius, there's a question, is Reb Yehuda Nosi, does Rebbe Pascal like Reb Shimon, does Pascal like Reb Yehuda? So the Gemara originally said he holds like Reb Shimon. Leslie Muktzah said, says, Reb Yehuda Nosi says that Midborius, a Shochtim Midborius, the animals that come out from out in the wilderness. So Gemara says, it's Gegros and Smukim. No, and therefore, it's not, it's Grogus and Smukim. And then in Marsi Bosem, it's going like Reb Yehuda. According to Reb Shimon, Midborios is not Muktzah. It's not Grogus and Smukim. Right? It's based to two Lashonis in the Gemara. Wait, one second. Right. They were arguing, is that Grogus and Smukim not? So what's the Machlokas? So what I said was, originally the Gemara had said on Dav Bezom and Aleph, that even man, the Islay Muktzah, the Leslie Muktzah Islay Nolad. No. When the Gemara asked the question, Rav Nachman answered. But when the Gemara asked the question, why is the egg muktzah? If you don't hold the muktzah, why is the egg? Why can't you eat the egg? Right? So Gemara says. So the Gemara held, and if you don't hold the muktzah, so Gemara originally held. So evidently, you see, man the Islay muktzah, man the Leslie muktzah Islay nolad. That's what Reb Shimon doesn't hold the muktzah. Reb Shimon holds that if even something's off limits at the entry point of a day, let's say the classical example is you have a candle burning on Shabbos, and then the oil candle goes out. Small candle, it's supposed to burn 4 or 5 hours. At the entry point of Shabbos, that oil was off limits to you, right? Because if it's burning, you take it out, it's the equivalent of extinguisher, it's kibui. Now it goes out. So even though it's a skatzoy ben hashmoshos, it was something which was not available to you when Shabbos began. When it goes out, Reb Shimon says you could benefit from that oil. Oil's not muktzah. Reb Yehuda says no, that since at the entry point of Shabbos that oil was off limits to you, whatever is muktzah at the entry point is katzoy l'kul yoma. It's muktzah for the duration of the day. Okay? That's the machlokas. So Rashi, so how we understand it? So Rashi says in that Bezom and Aleph, what's the concept of muktzah? That anything which could be available to a person, daitelu, his mindset is he wants to be involved with that. Daitaluya, you have a mind. So the Gemara originally held, so even if you don't know the muktzah, so something that exists or will exist, like similar to that, he is aware it's going to be burn out the candle for so many hours. There's going to be a residue of oil. So his mindset is, since it'll be available, his mindset is he wants to have that. But nolad, the egg, which he doesn't even know it exists, how can you say daitaluya, right? Therefore, the Gemara said that even according to Reb Shimon, who does know the muktzah, he would agree that the egg is muktzah. So how do we understand Beishamai? So Rav Nachman says no. Mandi islay muktzah islay nolad. The one who holds a muktzah holds a nolad. They're the same. And the one who rejects muktzah, it rejects nolad. So what does that mean? So now we're understanding it's a whole different concept. It's not what is available, your mindset is to be involved in it. To be muktzah, you have to negate it. It has to be negated. So since the egg was never negated, right? So therefore, when the egg is laid, you're permitted to use the egg, right? That's the difference between the question and Rav Nachman's answer. Rav Nachman answered, "Man dislei muktzah, islei nolad, man leslei muktzah, leslei nolad." So according to Reb Shimon, how does Rav Nachman understand Reb Shimon? It's not my dechozli daita aluya that his mindset is on it, because here there's no daita aluya. So evidently, you see clearly that unless it's like grogusut smukim, unless it's like something which is negated, which is literally put in a position where it's off limits to him, where it's not available, only then is a muktzah. So now, the Gemara says in Shabbos that if you have animals that come in from the wilderness, which the person never even considered coming in from the wilderness. So the question is, does Reb Shimon agree it's muktzah, or is it not muktzah?
The animal itself.
Came in on Yom Tif. So he never, in his wildest dreams, never knew this animal would come in from the wilderness.
Is it really that far to wild dreams?
It's midbarius. It comes from the midbar. I mean,
it's just not
of
regular.
course, it's remote.
Right.
It's remote. It's not something he counted on. That definitely didn't count. So Rabbi Yehuda Nasi says that it's muktzah. Wait, according to one version of the Gemara. Somewhere says if Rabbi Yehuda Nasi rules like Reb Shimon, why is it muktzah? He doesn't hold. Tomorrow says because Reb Shimon agrees that grogsut smukin, that if you take figs or grapes and you put them on the roof to dry, since there's a certain interim period where it's inedible, and you have no control of when it will become edible, putting it in that state, you're negating it from being food. Therefore, even Reb Shimon agrees that what it's muktzah.
But if it becomes available, it's not.
So even if it becomes available, it's still muktzah because you have no idea what's going to be. Because he put it in that position initially. So the Gemara says the animals coming in from the midbar, from the desert, that's the equivalent of grogsut smukim, even though there was no negation.
Well, okay, here because it's like Yidei Shemayim, so to speak.
No. But he was a dach b'yadayim. There's a difference. Dach b'yadayim, I put it in a position.
But I'm saying the smukim
No,
verse-
wait. So let me tell you what I said. Okay. So what I said was, if you hold, it has to be daita aluya, right? Your mindset will be available to you, right? So over there, it's not he's unaware. This is like a nolad. The animal coming in the midbar, same thing. It's not daita aluya because you have no understanding. You don't know what's going to be. Same thing. You didn't know that the animal exists, right? But according to that pshat, that's mandi isling muktzah, leslie muktzah isling nolad. The Gemara had in the question. Gemara said, how do we understand Beis Shammai? Even Beis Shammai rules like Reb Shimon, who doesn't hold the muktzah, similar to the oil candle that burns out. There, at least he knew it would burn out. The oil's going to be available. But here, he never knew the egg exists because it's something that came into existence, right? So Rav Nachman's chiddush was no, they're synonymous. One goes hand in hand. But what was the svara? Because he didn't have in mind that it even exists. So the animal coming in from the wilderness, since he didn't have in mind that it would come in, so it's like not having in mind, not knowing if the food will be edible. Okay? So it's not the negation, it's lacking the daita aluya. Right? That's no. According to Reb Shimon, the animals coming in from the wilderness would not be muktzah. Would not be muktzah. And Reb Yehuda would not be muktzah, and Rebbe, he rules like Reb Yehuda. He rules like Reb Yehuda. That if you hold it's all because it's muktzah. He holds a muktzah, but according to Reb Shimon, would not be muktzah. Why is it not muktzah? So if it's not muktzah, it's going like Rav Nachman. That what? Because the concept of Reb Shimon is not because you have in mind that as long as it wasn't negated, right? It's enough. He never negated that. He never had anything to do with these animals. But when you put it on the roof, put it in a position where initially it was edible, and you put it in a state where it's inedible, and you have no control over the outcome, that's called negation, right? So the two versions in the Gemara are dependent upon the question and the answer of Rav Nachman. In the question, we differentiated because it's mindset. It has nothing to do with negation. What do you have in mind? According to Rav Nachman's answer, it's not what you have in mind, but it's negation, right? Because if you don't hold the muktzah, you don't hold the nolad. So why is groget smukim worse? Because there you have a negation. He put it in a position. Initially was edible, and you put it in a position to become inedible, and you have no control over the outcome. Right? That's what we said yesterday.
Does it matter? Does it matter if he would have done it like he actually wanted to use it on Yom Tov? It should be ready.
But it doesn't make it, because since he has no control over it, you don't know, because it's all dependent on the sun, right? So it doesn't make a difference.
Even if they intend to use it, if it should be right then. and
Doesn't
they
make a
use it
difference.
for
It doesn't make a difference. That's called, if you put in a position, unless it's definitely going to be available, that's considered off limits. You have to undo the negation. Undo, as it's definitely not edible, it has to be definitely edible. And if it's not with the same level of definiteness, then it's off limits. The negation stays in place.
It has to be edible before you enter, obviously, because that's what we're talking
No, it could be edible on Yom Tov. He knows, let's see, the Gemara says you put a pot up to cook. There's a certain interim period that's inedible. But you know, if it cooks for so many hours, ultimately it's going to be edible. Definitely edible.
Okay.
So therefore, that's not putting it in that position is not called negating it from food, because it's going to become edible. But over here, you don't know what the outcome is going to be. So it's definitely inedible. So unless it's definitely edible, that's called you've negated it from food.
So where was that circuit, the two Lashons?
Mem Yom Beis.
So we're not clear who we're passing, like Rav Nachman's Shita, and the way we're touching it, but more.
We have different things over here.
But meaning, I'm saying, it's from here, it's just a little marginal that Rav Nachman's, low. We're all on Yesh or Muksa Yesh. It sounds like the more accepts. The more is not.
No, we had other. The more ask questions.
We don't want to ask questions, but
And the more,
ultimately it
but
doesn't
each one, Rav Yosef, what he said, the more says Rav Yosef and Rav Yitzchok, what he said.
The reason Rav
Said
Nachman
he's-
rejected, not because of the Svara, the reason he rejected
No. It has to be because of the svara. It has to be because of the svara. Otherwise, I don't need a new svara. We'll say Shemi Alav Yitlosh.
I thought that Rav Nachman was ultimately just not approved by everybody because his case does not fit the Lashon of the Mishnah. Like the Lashon, they can't do what the Chachamim are talking about here, that they're talking about Muktzah. Because if they're talking about Muktzah, they should have said Trabai. Be'er, but not because we really question his principle of, that this is the Shita of Shimon. And it just sounds
No,
like,
but it's clear, because it doesn't fit in Mishnah the Loshen, that they're not synonymous. They're not synonymous. Otherwise, say greater Chiddush. That's why each of them is coming up with a new reason. If no that is sufficient, no. If
they
no,
will accept Rav Nachman, they're just saying
no,
that
they
he can't.
can't. They can't. They can't accept it. Because if the svara of Nachman is correct,
Yeah.
then I don't need Shemi Alav Yitosh. Exhausted because it's nolad.
Okay, fine. Well, I hear, maybe needs to work it a little. So, but now, back to our places.
Okay, so
How
unless so he's saying, according,
reply to
what would say? So he says, but Rashi says that even if Shimon agrees, because he didn't pick it, that's Grogus and Smukim.
So that's only.
Wait. So let's talk now, right? So he didn't put it in a state that made it inedible, right?
Right.
But the answer is, if he could have made it available, and he chose to make it not available, that's negation,
Right.
right? 1 second. Wait, if you hold not like Rav Nachman, what is the svara? Daita aluya. No, that's not daita aluya,
Okay.
right? It's not.
Good.
One second. The egg is what? Is nolad, it should be osur.
Right.
So according to Beis Hillel,
Right.
right? What's the reason? So he says seemingly according to Rashi, it's grokus and smukim,
Right.
right? 1 second. Pers hanoshrin.
Maybe over there is when the grape goes to the papers.
Yeah. 1 second. Vavi kamukza group. Rashi says it doesn't make a difference, but Rashi look, it doesn't whether it's a Jews or a goys. Rashi says the same thing. Vavi kamukza rosut smukim. Da afir Reb Shimon modim kein ashin amik Reb Shimon. So if so, what do I need a svara of Shemi Alav Yitlosh? It's muktzah because it's grogus shmukim.
Right.
How again?
Because it's clear it's not daita aluya.
So I'm saying exactly. We're saying the.
It's not daita aluya.
It's not.
Meaning, the reason why something's not muktzah is because if something should become available, his mindset is he wants that. So does he know whether it's going to fall from the tree or not? It's like does he know whether the sun is going to dry it sufficient to make it edible? Being attached to the tree before Shabbos or Yom Tiv is the same thing like the food being inedible. It's not available to you. But it will be available because it will fall from the tree. But who said it will fall from the tree? Right? So it's only his mindset has to be that it will be available. But that he chose not to pick it, that means it's in a position that it's not going to be available to him.
Choose not to pick before you.
before Yom Tov. He could have and he chose not to, right?
So we're saying it's not Dach Yadayim there.
No, it's the Grogos Smoking. It's Grogos Smoking.
But I'm saying, in which way? We just said...
Doesn't make a
smoking
difference.
could be either-
It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have Dachim Yadayim.
No, we said that...
It's the same idea. It's the same idea. There, he didn't put it in the state to make it inedible. The reality of what it was, it's not available. Because if you chose not to pick it before Shabbos, that means it's mechuber. It's reaping. You're not permitted to reap on Shabbos. Correct? It's kotzer. Okay? Yeshlom de Mari Hochlon bechotzer davi muchen orvim, muchen orvim havi muchen lodom. Yeah? That since the ravens, it's in the courtyard, and the ravens, they pick the fruit off the tree, so therefore, since it's muchen lorvim, it's muchen lodom. Since it's classified as a food item.
On the tree still.
Yeah, but they're going to eat it off the tree.
And then
The bird, the raven. Now, let's understand, we had this in the Gemara a little bit. Again, why, look, see me like this. What's this for muchen la'odom? Muchen lebehemis, muchen la'odom. Right? Because the Gemara says, because whatever is available to an animal, any conceivable thing that could be utilized by a person, he doesn't put out of his mind. Right? Something that's for the person who doesn't give to an animal, so he doesn't consider for himself, he doesn't consider for the animal. Right? But over here, factually, the ravens are going to pick the fruit. So therefore, in his mindset, how does he see the fruit? No, it's available. It's going to be available. For the ravens, it's available. They're going to pick it. So if they pick it, what are they picking? Once they pick it, it's detached. So the fruit on this tree is seen as detached fruit. Right? So therefore, his not picking is not necessarily not daitel lui. That's called daitel. His mindset is for that as a food item. Because it's classified as a food for what? For the ravens. Okay? 1 second. So now we have to come on Shema Yalav Yitlosh, even though that meat in terms of muktzah, but we're still not going to allow him to eat it. Because if he eats that, he may pick another fruit. So it's a gzeira what? That he shouldn't reap on Yom Tov or Shabbos. 1 second. Lekach tzor chai taima. V'im tomo amrinon maimin odom b'Shabbos b'hemto al mechuber v'lo al muktzah. Person, let's say, he takes an animal, takes it out to graze on Shabbos, so we allow him to even put the animal's mouth down to the grass, and the animal's going to tear out the grass. There's not a gzeira, he may tear out the grass to accommodate the animal, right? But let's say there's muktzah on the ground. Let's say you had grass that was cut on Yom Tov, on Shabbos. And you want to put the animal's mouth down to that grass to eat, you can't. Because there's a gzeira, you may pick up the grass, put it in the animal's mouth. Where it's nisa d'oraisa, we're not concerned to do such a thing. But if it's only muktzah, we're concerned. Avolo al yidei muktzah, pirush asab shidit l'shu hayom. V'amai, ha'avi muchan lebehemo, diboy ochlen min nafsho. Right? It's muchan lebehemo. That grass is muchan lebehemo. Of course, it can eat it on its own. So why is it muktzah? Stop for a moment. Stop for a moment. No, 1 second. See, it's interesting. The way we explained that Rashi in the third parak, regardless if it's the fruit of a Jew or fruit of a goy, you can't pick the fruit of a goy, correct? But in his mindset, that he didn't pick his own fruit, that means in his mindset it's not daitaluya. Because he chose not to pick. So it's irrelevant who owns the fruit, whether Jew or goy owns the fruit. Okay? Here, before Shabbos, he didn't reap any. He said it doesn't make it, but the animal can eat it on its own. This is going to be a little difficult. So the answer was speaking about that the grass that the animal has, the animal couldn't have eaten. Right? But again, why is this different than what Rashi says? It doesn't make a difference if it's the fruit of a goy or fruit of a Jew. Right? The fruit of the goy wasn't available for him to pick either. Right? Let's see. V'yishlomo the bar betray avri denaro. That the grass was speaking about him is muktzah because it was not available to the animal. It was not available. Even though where the animal was initially, evidently it was in a location where there was grass.
No, you think that's the terrace.
No, the grass that it's eating, that grass was not available.
Right.
But let's say in his field there was grass. But according to what Rashi says later, it doesn't make a difference. Right? Rashi says it doesn't make a difference if it's perishal, Yisrael perishal shalakum, shal nachri. Right? That he did pick his own, that therefore he's already revealed that he's not interested in this. It's like rogus smukim. That's what Rashi says. So here also, even though this particular grass may be in a location where the animal couldn't have gotten to it on its own, the person had to bring him there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say it was a locked gate.
Okay.
And he had,
Across the river.
Tree never means it was not available, right?
I thought it meant that
It's an expression used in the Gemara by Lefnei Velosid and Michshol. It was not. Let's say it was a locked gate, and he opened the gate so the animal could go in there, right? So this grass was not muchen lebehema. So therefore, as a result of that, that's why it's muktzah. That's why it's muktzah. No, it's muktzah to him. To the person, we're concerned he may pick it up and feed the animal. We said, but if for the animal it's not muktzah for the person. Right? Yeah. That's what we wanted answers. He said, well, over there you see, the animal could tear it out on its own. And yet we say we're concerned he may pick it up and give it to the animal. But if it's not muktzah for the animal, because the animal was meant to tear it out, right? So why is it muktzah to the person? Muchen lebehema is muchen la'adam.
But I'm saying the Rashi question is this was terrorist. This was terrorist is saying, when is it on muktzah?
But he's saying it in Rashi. He's saying this in Rashi.
No, I'm saying, I think you brought it by, who cares if the animal couldn't have reached that grass? We see Rashi and Kodal and Davis.
Right.
But I'm saying that question really arises before it gets to Gemara Shabbos. When this is answered, obviously, so why is it not muktzah here? It says,
see, this question you could ask independent of Rashi. The Gemara later says, muchen lebehema, muchen leklov is muchen la'adam.
It should be.
Right? Over there we see muchen lebehema is not muchen la'adam. Right? You can ask that question. No, the Gemara in Be'er. The Gemara in Be'er here says muchen leklovim is muchen la'adam. Right? That's why treifa is not muktzah for the person.
Now it goes ahead
By the eagle. And here it says over here we see it's muchen lebehema, and it's not muchen la'adam. It's muktzah. So this answer you have to give regardless. Right? This answer has to be given regardless. Okay? You have to say it's tre'avin in the Nahara. That he couldn't. Factually, he's saying he's been mechalik between the case of the ravens. Right? The case of the ravens, it's not muktzah because factually it's muchan, because it's not muktzah for the ravens, it's not muktzah for the person. Right?
How does it work? In other words, when we say it's muchal over muchal over, why do we need to link muchal over muchal over? Why is it not enough that it's just muchal over? In other words, I presume you could feed you if you have a dog as a pet. Could you feed it its dog food?
No, it's not muchal orvim. You couldn't. It has nothing to do with you feeding. The orvim have to pick the fruit off the tree, which you couldn't do. You couldn't pick it off the tree on their behalf. If you have dog food,
right,
which is
so you can't use it.
wait a second. No, that's understood. You can feed it. You can feed it to the dog.
Right. So it's not but
right.
Here,
but over here we're talking about that you should be able to eat the fruit. You should be able to eat the fruit, even though it's muktzah machmasisa for you. You weren't permitted to reap this before when Shabbos entered. So this was off limits to you. She said, but the raven could have picked it. So if the raven could have picked, that means it's already classified when Shabbos entered as a food item. Once it's classified as a food item, therefore I could use it. Because what's considered not muktzah for the animals is not muktzah for yourself or for the bird.
It's by the way, like you said, the Gemara Bava Morale, not everybody holds it as well. The Gemara asked Shosik Rav, why don't you say this? Right? And he didn't. He never
Yeah, but the Gemara, but seemingly the maskana, but it seems the maskana's Gemara is muchad la'adam, muchad lebeim is muchad.
I'm saying Abai said that we say it, and say again we say it, and this is what we're saying. But we see Rav did not necessarily hold, like he didn't necessarily come around.
But seems to me the maskana's Gemara is we don't understand why he didn't say it, but it's not because he rejected it.
I mean, there's a Gemara Pesachim where you see it's not the wrong altar. Because he doesn't mention it. Since I was looking
Yeah, what does the Gemara say?
The Gemara in Golden Base there talks about the mission list the 6 things that may use with the 3 things that one of the
Yeah,
one of the things that in the proof is that actually they would allow the aniyim to be from the Paris and Moshe Shabbos.
Yeah, but they could have put that's because it's Peres HaNoishrin. Shemi Alaviyat Loish.
Sometimes the Gemara has to assume is that Omer Ula b'Shem Rishokish the Machlokes in the Chabedus in the upper bits that because they get caught up close in the basket and it's close to the other fruit, so there the women don't allow it to Shem Yeri. But the Yericha one concern.
No, it's a different Shemi Alaviyat Loish.
No, it's right there. You have it there. The dates are right there.
Yeah.
So the first law from the Ula is that Machlokes is in those upper dates. And because they're still too close to the growing branches, Chachamim didn't approve it because that's the risk, but it's prepared for Shem Yeri. And then Yericha one Shem Yeri. Second law, and then Rabbah there, the Rabbah says, but then Ula says, but in the Laura dates, we keep him Divra Kol Mutter. So Rabbah there asks, Divra Kol Mutter, well, how Muktanin? And the Rabbah says, V'im Treimer, Muchel Adam, Muchel Adam. He says,
It's Muchel Adam.
And then he asks the question, but we see Baruch Yehuda by Nevela, it's, Hashka Muchel Adam, Lahad Muchel Adam. He says, in Lashon. It says, in. Yeah, that's that,
No, Muchel Adam is not Muchel Klovim.
And he asked the same question as one ways.
Yes, but Muchel Klovim is Muchel
So the
Adam.
more gives the same terms.
Right.
So the point is the first Lashon,
Still.
but the second Lashon, Omer Rav and Yishon Rishokish, Machlokas be keeping. The Machlokas is in the lower days, right? Because Chachamim don't say Muchel Adam. They don't say, and that's why they didn't approve it. And the Yiddish do say, I will be Benchabedos, the upper ones, Dirakol Osur, Gzer Sham Yiddish. That's the first more where
Second verse is a machlokes. The hold of muchel. I mean,
Machlokas and more than Machlokas, Chachamim don't hold of it. And the Sfasam is here asks, how can this give us the stairs? The Maskana, the second Lashon.
And the Maskana, it's called that
He,
Lashon.
I don't know why, but the Kodesh says, so he has to say that, you must say it first as it's still going to Rav Shimon. Because Rav Shimon, since it doesn't hold the muktzah, generally, it's enough to take it out of the muktzah. Because it doesn't hold the muktzah. It's I'm a Chuber just had this problem that is accident.
So he's saying better. He's saying, I would say that this was saying this according to Rav Yosef. There's two Lashonim. So Rav Yosef holds like the other Lashon. It's not so difficult. Rav Yosef calls the Peres HaNoishrin because he holds. Rav Yosef holds Muchel Adam. Abaye and Rav Yosef Talmud and Rebbe.
By the way, I said that we could actually roll it out.
It's Abaye.
Abaye is one who doesn't hold it, and Rav Yosef.
Okay, so it's the Shitosos. It's good.
I said that. This is the Lashon Rabba, Vitem, Rav Yosef. They're the ones who ask Lama Shosek Rabba.
No, good, it's good. So good. It's Rav Yosef. Even if we need Peres HaNoishrin.
But he's still, whatever, there's more we can say about it.
I mean, you don't need it. You don't need it.
But I was just saying, so we're saying we need this Mukhim order because otherwise the person should stay remain forbidden throughout the day because it's often mistake. Now that it's accessible to his pets or to his birds, it's no longer often mistake. That's what that's what.
עוד יש להם נושך מוכן לעורבים רק בפרס האילון שרגילון להושר מעצמו. הוא מצפה לכך. Yeah? He's saying it's a combination. Since the fruits normally fall, פרס האילון שרגילון להושר. It's a combination. He's saying the Orvin, they're going to pick it. And also in addition, they normally fall. You have to understand what the combination is. It's Muchal La'orvin, we only say, and since Muchal La'orvin, it's Muchal La'adam, but that's only payros that are within his purview that they may be available to him.
It has the additional element of
You have to understand, but you have to understand the combination. If it's Yoshim Tzapet, what do you need Orvin?
Right, so I mean, speaking out that with the Maharshal, if we have the Maharshal, it's a big machlokes. The Maharshal and the Rashba want to say that this is actually an independent premise to this original question. That he is disregarding Mukhla Adam, even though that's not the Lashon here. But this is disregarding, and then he's coming out to the second reason, and the separate independent reason, that the reason
But then, what does Tais have to mention? Lo Shaykh Mukhal Orvin.
No, so he's saying the Akopi Lashon Doktor. He's saying that this is second terrace. It's the second terrace, and that's all he's going with.
It's Doktor.
The Maharshal, the Rashba says this terrace, and
No, the Rashba is not fair.
no, the
Because
Rashba in Tosfos says that this is how he's learning. It's a separate terrace. He's disregarding Mukhal.
Which Rashba? Rashba speaks about Tosfos.
Yeah, the Rashba.
You saw Rashi inside?
Yeah.
What does he say?
He said that this is second teretz. Like, I mean, he's quoting, he's touching up.
Yeah, that what?
That it's not muktzah over here because other years mitzvah. In other words, they're both catching up. The choices here is coming on to second reason to the original question: why is it not moved over here? Because here, payers and notion, they're over there by goy. It's not like something that he's hanging around. Here, it's what's it called? It's other years mitzvah, and there's a choices in Shabbos that's marked this way also. The Marshal says no. He's answering the question from Shabbos. What's the fruit and grass in this? And as Michalik that over here, it's it has an additional element of Yom Mitzvah, which my grass is not. It's in the back.
Yeah, it's a doch. Lo shach, let him say.
Yeah, no, the
It's Yoshim Mitzapeh.
No, they say. Apropos Lashon. It says B'cheni Eker.
Not only that. See, if you go with that Buchen Orvim, then you're saying a big dochik. The case of Nochish Evi Doron is speaking about fruits that don't normally fall. Right? Grass normally doesn't attach itself. But any fruit in the tree, if it's, let's say it's holding it to be picked at the ripe state, it falls. Right? That's the reason.
He's about to make a king to get there, but not just talking about altogether vegetables, not talking about this. That's the
Avol Tema and Cain, Kaven the Omer Hai Taima, or Lomli Taima del Kamon. What's this question?
So now that you proved that the Shem Yavi is relevant, so why does the Gemara of Dalvin base have to say that to say that we're always concerned that Shem Yavi?
I mean, by Nochish Evi Doron.
Yeah.
Ich glaube, kann man Mari bedovish the boy Moro Chatzin go Lefes u'Tznoin lo shach Shem Yalav Yitlosh that Kuri Mitkar Hol Ven Yochel Bakal Letosho. Since he can't, so therefore, to go to that extent, he's not going to lose himself. He's not going to lose sight that he can't do it. But picking something from a tree, which is just a quick action, there I'm concerned. Yeah.
Making the king to that, and I don't think it's not saying that it's only talking about those things.
1 second. It's not possible Yalav Yitlosh because it's something which he'll catch himself. So therefore I have to come on to the Svar. That he didn't pick it, therefore it's Muktzah.
Yeah,
I would just want to go with the combination that Muchen La'orvim are only pairs which are notion, which normally fall on their own. And Mitzapeh Lekach. Second. From Shimon doesn't hold the Kevin Diskatsoi. Right? Okay, 1 second. Regilun Hoshmafu Mitzapelkach. So he's referring to says Yoshim Mitzapeh. So this is like Ner. So if it's like Ner, what do we need the Orvin?
Right.
What do we need the Muchad Orvin?
that's probably the best way of
No, I hear it. So how do I combine the two? Well, if you have the second, we don't need the first.
Our first says, but it's the more Shabbos of Sochem. I feel the Yericho didn't allow it unless they didn't allow it. the holding Gershon Tzad is so flat, in my opinion, with Reb Shimon. I don't know why this is about it because there's also these are problems.
Does it make a difference?
Just go with the first. This is very flat for we see it elsewhere with Reb Shimon. Just fine after that we hear holding Gershon Tzad over there. By Doch Shevidorim, for some reason not holding Gershon Tzad, meaning it's not like a regular thing that if something comes for you.
Yeah.
Even though payers are payers, you should say that they're kids.
Right.
If he owns the land, if he owns the grazing spot, so it's always usable for him because it's his. So in other words, the animals are his, the land is his, the grass is his. So why would it be muktzah for him to touch? If it's his, it's
No.
It would be as if it's all I could use it because I want it.
He never intended to take the animal there.
Well, that's the scenario.
You have to say that. If he intended to take the animal there, then it's not
But
muktzah.
if he did,
Then it's not muktzah.
then it's not. And he
Because it's
could touch
muchen
the-
lebeim, it's not muchen, it's muchen
Okay.
lodam. Okay, I have to stop here.